The emergency comm crackled to life at 0300 hours, jarring Dr. Cale Morrison from a restless sleep. His heart hammered as the distress code flashed red across his neural interface. Priority Alpha from the diplomatic wing. Dr. Morrison, please respond immediately. Diplomat Valora requires urgent medical assistance. The station AI's voice held an unusual edge of concern. Cale threw on his lab coat over his sleep clothes and sprinted through the sterile corridors of Station Meridian, the flagship diplomatic outpost floating in neutral space between human and Thetian territories. His mind raced through possibilities. The Thetians were humanoid, but with significant biological differences. Their circulatory system ran on bioluminescent energy rather than simple blood. When the door to Valora's quarters hissed open, Cale froze. The Thetian diplomat stood in the center of her dimly lit room, her usually composed demeanor shattered. Her skin, normally a soft pearl blue, now pulsed with veins of golden light that seemed to writhe beneath the surface. She wore only a thin sleeping robe, and through the translucent fabric, Cale could see the energy patterns spreading across her torso like living fractals. No, enough! It keeps growing. Valora gasped, her violet eyes wide with terror. She stumbled, and Cale rushed forward to catch her. The moment his hands touched her bare shoulders, a shock of warmth surged through him. Not painful, but intensely alive. Her skin was fever-hot. "Please," she whispered, her face inches from his. "You must find a cure. I can feel it expanding, consuming me from within." Cale helped her to the bed, trying to maintain professional distance even as he noticed how her robe had slipped, revealing more of the luminescent patterns racing across her collarbone and down her chest. He forced himself to focus. "Tell me everything. What happened?" Valora's breath came in shallow gasps. "The ceremony of confluence. 3 days ago, I participated to honor the treaty signing. We Thetians exchange bioenergy as a gesture of trust and unity. But something went wrong." She gripped his hand with surprising strength. "The energy they gave me, it won't stop multiplying. It's feeding on my own life force, growing exponentially." Cale pulled out his med scanner, running it over her body. The readings were alarming. The foreign bioenergy had already consumed 30% of her natural reserves and was accelerating. If it continued unchecked, it would burn through her completely within 48 hours. Worse, the scanner detected dangerous resonance frequencies that could potentially cascade through the station's bioenergy grid. "We need to get you to my lab immediately," Cale said, meeting her desperate gaze. "I'll need to analyze your cellular structure and synthesize a counteragent. It won't be easy. Human medicine and Thetian biology don't always play well together." Valora nodded weakly, trust and fear mingling in her expression. "I'm putting my life in your hands, Cale Morrison. Please, don't let this thing destroy me." Cale's private laboratory hummed with activity as diagnostic equipment surrounded Valora. He'd helped her onto the examination platform, her tall, lithe frame trembling with each pulse of rogue energy. The standard medical gown did little to contain the light show spreading across her body. "I need to place contact sensors directly on your skin," Cale explained, trying to keep his voice steady. "The energy signature is too volatile for remote scanning." Valora nodded, then slowly untied her gown, letting it slip from her shoulders. Cale's breath caught. The bioenergy had spread in beautiful, terrible patterns across her chest and abdomen, like living constellations beneath her pearl blue skin. He'd studied Thetian anatomy in medical texts, but seeing her like this, vulnerable, glowing, almost ethereal, was different. "I know this is difficult," she whispered, watching his face. "Your people and mine. We don't often share such intimate moments." Cale's hands trembled slightly as he placed the first sensor just below her collarbone. Her skin was impossibly soft, radiating that strange warmth. "I'm a scientist," he said, more to himself than to her. I've analyzed hundreds of species. But you're also a man, Valora said softly, her violet eyes locking with his. And I am grateful you're here. The sensors began feeding data to his workstation, but Kale found it hard to concentrate. Valora's presence was overwhelming. Not just physically, but the way she looked at him with such complete trust despite her fear. The readings are worse than I thought, Kale admitted, studying the holographic display. The foreign energy is entangled with your own at the quantum level. It's almost parasitic, but also symbiotic. It's trying to merge with you completely. Then separate it, Valora pleaded, reaching for his hand. Please, Kale. He intertwined his fingers with hers, feeling the energy pulse between them. It's not that simple. If I just try to extract it, I could kill you. But I have an idea. It's risky. Tell me. Kale pulled up molecular models. Thetian bioenergy responds to certain resonance frequencies. If I can synthesize a compound using both human biochemistry and calibrated energy modulation, it might convince the rogue energy to stabilize rather than grow. How long will it take? Hours. Maybe a full day. He looked at her seriously. You'll need to stay here. I'll need to monitor you constantly. Adjust the synthesis as your condition changes. It means staying close to you, Valora finished. I understand. She managed a weak smile. There are worse fates than spending time with a brilliant, handsome human scientist. Despite the gravity of the situation, Kale felt warmth creep up his neck. I'll start the synthesis immediately. Try to rest. You'll need your strength. But as he turned to his equipment, Valora didn't release his hand. Stay close, she whispered. Please. I'm frightened. Kale pulled a chair beside the platform and sat, still holding her hand. I'm not going anywhere. 16 hours into the synthesis, exhaustion clawed at Kale's mind, but he refused to leave Valora's side. She drifted in and out of consciousness, each time waking with a gasp as another surge of energy ripped through her. The latest episode was the worst yet. Kale! Valora cried out, her entire body arching off the platform as golden light exploded across her skin. The sensors shrieked alarms, and Kale rushed to stabilize her, his hands on her shoulders, then her face. Look at me, he commanded, forcing her to focus on his eyes. Valora, look at me. Breathe with me. She was crying now, tears streaming down her luminescent cheeks. It's going to kill me. I can feel it burning everything inside. No! Kale's voice was fierce. I won't let it. Do you hear me? I won't lose you. The words hung in the air between them, carrying more weight than he'd intended. When had this stopped being just a medical emergency? When had Valora become more than a patient? Her hand found his face, trembling fingers tracing his jaw. Why do you care so much? You barely know me. Kale couldn't answer immediately. Over these hours together, monitoring her vitals, holding her through the pain, talking softly about everything and nothing, something had shifted. He'd learned about her childhood on Thesha Prime, her dreams of bridging species through diplomacy, her fear that she'd die before making a real difference. Because you matter, he finally said. Because you're brilliant and brave, and the universe would be darker without you in it. Valora pulled him closer, until his forehead rested against hers. The energy pulsed between them now, and Kale realized with shock that his own bioelectric field was beginning to resonate with hers. The synthesis is nearly complete, he whispered. Just hold on a little longer. Kale? Her voice was barely audible. If this doesn't work, if I don't survive, I want you to know that these hours with you have been. She paused, searching for words. You've made me feel less alone than I've felt in years. He pulled back to look at her fully. Her beauty, even ravaged by the rogue energy, took his breath away. Without thinking, he pressed his lips to her forehead. a gesture both comforting and intimate. Velora's breath hitched. That's a very human custom. It means I care, Kale said simply. It means you're not alone. The synthesis chamber chimed, signaling completion. Kale reluctantly pulled away, checking the readings. The compound glowed with a soft blue-white light, perfectly balanced between human chemistry and Theshan energy signatures. This is it, he said, loading it into an injector. Once I administer this, there's no going back. It will either stabilize you or kill me faster, Velora finished. She smiled bravely. I trust you, Kale. Completely. He positioned the injector against her neck, where the energy pulsed strongest. Together? Together, she agreed. Kale pressed the trigger. The compound hit Velora's system like a shock wave. Her entire body convulsed, and Kale barely caught her before she fell from the platform. The golden energy surged violently, spreading from her core outward in spiraling tendrils. For a terrifying moment, it looked like his cure was accelerating her death. No, no, no! Kale held her tighter, one hand pressed against her chest where her dual hearts raced beneath his palm. Fight it, Velora! Please fight it! She screamed, a sound of pure agony that cut through him. Her fingers dug into his shoulders hard enough to bruise as waves of energy rippled across her skin. The lab lights flickered, equipment sparking as her bioenergy field expanded uncontrollably. Then something unexpected happened. Where Kale's skin touched hers, the energy began to calm. Not disappear, but stabilize, forming intricate patterns that flowed between their bodies. He felt it clearly now. His human bioelectric field was acting as a ground, a stable reference point for the chaotic Theshan energy. Kale! Velora gasped against his chest. What's happening? I don't know, but don't let go of me. He adjusted their position, pulling her fully into his arms, maximizing skin contact. The energy responded immediately, flowing through both of them in increasingly organized patterns. Velora wrapped her arms around his neck, her face buried against his shoulder. It's changing. The pain is less. I can feel your heartbeat, your warmth. It's anchoring me somehow. The monitors showed what Kale already suspected. His presence was providing biological feedback that the synthetic compound needed to work properly. The rogue energy wasn't just being suppressed. It was being integrated, transformed from a parasitic force into something harmonious. Hold me closer, Velora whispered, her breath warm against his neck. Please. Kale tightened his embrace, one hand cradling her head, the other spanning her back. Her skin was still hot, but no longer feverish. Now it was the warmth of life, of energy properly channeled. The luminescent patterns shifted from chaotic gold to a beautiful interplay of blue and gold that seemed to dance between their merged forms. Velora, he murmured into her hair. I think we're stabilizing you together. Your energy is learning to recognize mine as safe, as balanced. She pulled back just enough to look at him, her violet eyes now clear and bright. You've saved me. Not yet. The critical period lasts at least 12 more hours. I need to stay close to you, keep providing that biological feedback. A smile played at her lips despite her exhaustion. You're saying you need to hold me for 12 hours? Kale felt his face flush. If you're comfortable with that. Instead of answering, Velora pressed closer, her forehead resting against his. Kale Morrison, I've never been more comfortable in my life. They stayed like that, intertwined in the dim lab, as the energy between them continued its dance of stabilization and harmony. Two beings from different worlds, literally keeping each other alive. Dawn broke over Station Meridian as Kale finally powered down the monitors. Velora slept peacefully in his arms, her breathing steady. Her skin returned to its natural pearl blue with only subtle traces of golden energy flowing in healthy patterns. They'd spent the night on the medical platform, Kale holding her through each small fluctuation, talking softly when she woke, simply being present when words weren't enough. Somewhere in those quiet hours, the boundaries between doctor and patient, between human and Theshan, had dissolved completely. Velora stirred, her eyes opening to find Kale watching her with exhausted relief. Is it over? The crisis? Yes. The energy has fully integrated. You're stable. He smiled, brushing a strand of her silver hair from her face. You're going to live, Velora. She sat up slowly, marveling at the absence of pain. The golden patterns under her skin were now beautiful rather than threatening, flowing naturally with her movements. Because of you, you saved my life. We saved your life, Kale corrected. It took both of us. The synthesis I created needed biological feedback only a human could provide. It's unprecedented. Velora turned to face him fully, her expression intense. Kale, what happened between us? The energy exchange, the resonance. Theshan's only experienced that with bonded partners. You understand what that means. He did. He'd read enough about Theshan culture to know that our bioelectric fields have imprinted on each other. More than that, she took his hands, and the energy flowed between them again, gentle now, harmonious. I can feel your emotions, your exhaustion, your relief. And more than that, she paused, vulnerability crossing her features. Your care for me, it's real. Kale didn't hesitate. Yes, it's real. Velora, I know this started as a medical emergency, but somewhere in those hours, you became... He struggled for the right words. You became someone I couldn't imagine losing. She leaned forward slowly, giving him time to pull away. He didn't. Their lips met in a kiss that was tentative at first, then deeper, charged with the energy that now flowed naturally between them. It felt like coming home, like two puzzle pieces finally fitting together. When they parted, both were breathing hard. The Diplomatic Council needs to know about this, Velora said. The potential for human-Theshan bonding, for true biological compatibility. It changes everything about our alliance. It does, Kale agreed. But first you need rest. Real rest. Doctor's orders. Velora laughed. The first time he'd heard the sound, and it was beautiful. Will you stay with me? I find I'm not quite ready to be apart from you yet. Neither am I, Kale admitted. As they settled into the recovery room together, Velora's head resting on his shoulder, Kale reflected on how a desperate midnight call had transformed into something neither of them had expected. A connection that transcended species, protocol, and every boundary that had once seemed insurmountable. Sometimes, he thought, helping someone in their darkest moment doesn't just change diplomacy. It changes everything. The end.